Hey guys, so this Photoshop tutorial is just going to go over some basic skin retouching in Photoshop. And this is a tutorial for beginners. Anybody can pretty much do this as long as you have Photoshop installed. I'm using CS5 here. As you can see, I just kind of got a photo offline with a girl who has a little bit of acne going on here, just by Google searching acne on the internet here. Now, my favorite tool to use over on the left-hand side is the patch tool. The patch tool is great for selecting smaller areas. The brush tool is going to be used later just to kind of maybe get rid of some shine that you might see on your skin. The first thing I like to do is definitely copy the background image. This just kind of gives you a reference to kind of check whether or not you are making progress, how realistic the image looks. I always like to edit the copy image and save the background and keep it locked, just so I don't accidentally mess it up. So the first thing we're going to do is grab the patch tool. And the patch tool is going to be great for just kind of selecting some smaller blemishes. Just kind of drag a circle around anything that might be a little unsightly. Drag it over anywhere where there's not like an acne spot. The patch tool copies texture. So as you can see, there was kind of a red spot there. It's no longer visible, just because I copied an area that didn't have any acne on it. And what it does is kind of just merges the colors of the image of where you've selected just next to the part you have highlighted. Great, so just kind of go around and maybe circle things that you don't like, any little acne spots, drag them over into a bigger image, something that's a little cleaner, and you're not going to get that acne spot that you have seen previously. This is a pretty quick technique, takes less than a couple of minutes, just depending on how much you want to circle. Pretty subtle. And you can get rid of anything. It doesn't have to be acne. It could be maybe a mole or anything just unsightly. So just keep circling, copying different parts. And as you can see, her skin is already looking a lot better. We've spent less than 2 minutes doing this. Perfect. Her skin's starting to look a lot better already. And go ahead and turn off that image, just view that background, see the progress that you've made. It's great. Looking good. Okay, so maybe also we don't like that there's some shine going on in her skin here. So we can definitely edit that out as well. One of my favorite tools to use for that is the brush tool. And the brush tool, what you're going to want to do once you have it selected is make sure that you select a softer brush. Nothing that's too hard, like the dark circle. You're going to want to select the more faded one, just because otherwise you're going to see some pretty noticeable lines and that will not look good. And so all we're going to do is just drag and drop over this. I like to set my opacity down to like 35 or 40%, something lower, so it's not going to be, again, as noticeable. The quickest way to select a color of what you're going to want to do is, if you're using a Mac, hit Option, or you can go over on the left-hand side and select the eyedropper tool. I'm just going to hit Option here and kind of select a color near the skin and drag and drop over it and just kind of get rid of some of that shine. I like to select a variety of colors, just kind of makes everything blend a little bit better. Go over some nose shine here. Perfect. It's starting to get better. There we go. Get rid of some shine here. Another great technique with using this brush is that you can also kind of get rid of a little bit of wrinkles too. If they're not too terribly noticeable, the brush tool tends to get rid of those fairly nicely. Alright, so we'll kind of go over all of the skin here really quick just to kind of blend it all together. Chin's looking a little bumpy, so we'll drag the brush tool over that and kind of get rid of some of those more noticeable dents. Alright. Cool. Again, we're going to see the progress we've made, looking a lot better than the original image already. Now that pretty much wraps up what you can do with just some quick basic using two tools, patch tool and the brush tool, to just kind of highlight the skin, make it look a little cleaner, a little fresher, better than what we had originally gone through. Another ending technique I like to do is kind of just run over everything with the blur tool. Now this kind of blurs the pixels together, kind of makes everything blend just a little bit nicer than the brush tool. But it doesn't put any color over anything, so the blur tool is just for the end, blurring up those pixels, blending it all together. Not a huge difference, but something that's going to make everything a little bit more magazine finish, if you will. It's looking pretty good. And that's pretty much all you need to do for a basic ending image. There's one last technique that sometimes I like to kind of go over, just using a filter to kind of bring out the glow in skin. It's nothing too dramatic, but it definitely can make the image pop just a little bit more. Based on this background color here, I usually choose white if I'm editing skin on somebody who's white, just by going over to filter, and then you're going to want to go down to the distort selection and then click on diffuse glow. Minimize that so we can see everything. Perfect. And you can kind of see here already, like, her skin's looking a little bit cleaner, a little more angelic. I know this is a technique that's pretty popular with photographers and editing children, just kind of makes their skin look heavenly. This looks like a little bit too much glow here, so we might drag this just a little further. That looks good. We'll leave it at 12. So perfect. You can see her skin pops just a little bit more, looks a little bit more healthy, a little bit cleaner. And that will wrap up today's video tutorial. If you guys liked what you saw, please let me know. Leave a comment on how I can improve. This was my first video, so please don't be too cruel. Share suggestions, give me tips, let me know what you want to see in the future. Thanks!